All right, good morning from, what is this, day two, full day two in Istanbul? Day 2 of 3 full days here. Just had the most amazing breakfast. It was full Turkish breakfast.
It was crazy.
It was an insane amount of food again. The hotel really does breakfast right.
I think I'm gonna have to go back and count the number of plates that were in that picture.
Yeah, there was just a ton of different options and things to eat. It was really good. But I got a recommendation to walk over into the new town and go to Taksim Square as a cool place to see that's not in a tourist central. So that's what we're going to do this morning. We're almost there. Kelly keeps asking me, why are we always going up? I had no idea this time. All right, so we made it up to Taskim Square. Actually, Taksim Square. Actually, really cool. Just a lot of local shops, a lot of people hanging out. And then I think we wandered down what seemingly was like the Rodeo Drive of Turkey.
It was so long.
Yeah, there were like 3 or 4 of the same store. It was so long. But then we stumbled upon this really beautiful like Catholic church just off the shopping street. So came inside and very beautiful, simple yet beautiful.
Yeah, it's a different style. Like, it's not frescoed on the ceilings or anything, but just still very beautiful inside. The stained glass is really pretty here.
Yeah.
I think similar to lots of the decor around.
Yeah, so that was really nice, and I think we're just slowly wandering our way around town. Again, it's Monday, so most like tourist attractions are closed, so we're kind of just doing a little wandering. All right, good morning from Tuesday. Monday here in Istanbul, like a lot of Europe, most things are closed. So we didn't do too much other than kind of wander around and enjoy the city for what it is. And we did go to, I think, the most famous baklava house here in Istanbul, where the baklava is actually almost very different to what we've gotten everywhere else. Like the nuts are much bigger.
Yeah, it's a little unassuming from the outside, but absolutely stunning inside and great baklava.
Yeah, so we really enjoyed that, but didn't really get into a whole lot. But it's Tuesday. It's our last full day here in Istanbul, and so we've made our way out to, I think, what's called like the Humbrook, to be updated based on the guide. But it's a palace on the river that actually bankrupted Turkey at one point because of how expensive and lavish it is. So we're about to buy our tickets and go inside, and hopefully it's a good tour.
And it's a good day in the life of Kelly. I had chocolate cereal for breakfast and got my pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. So it's a good day here.
So Kelly's happy. All right, so we just finished touring the palace proper, and unfortunately no pictures or videos allowed inside. But I don't know, to me that was one of the most impressive interior structures I've ever seen anywhere. Much more impressive.
Every room.
Yeah, much more impressive than the Topkapi Palace for sure. Obviously so, this one's a little more recent. I think we were talking about like 1800s, 1900s. So a lot more recent. With that came a lot more recent, like architecture and things were identical on both sides of the room and paintings, but wow.
Yeah, it was just stunning. I think just different colors all throughout. It was a little more subtle coloring though, with the exception of the Grand Hall. Throughout lots of browns and golds and things like that. But really, really ornate.
Yeah, the Grand Hall is probably like 60, 70 feet tall, ceilings with a dome, something like 40 columns or so with 56 columns inside of it. Yeah, I'm sure there are like images online we can find, but it's still used to this day, and it's just, yeah, wow.
What was interesting to me is it reminded me a lot of some of the domes and inside of places in Italy, but instead of, pictures of people and things like that, because they didn't really paint people here, it was more like flowers and shrubbery and things like that. So kind of cool.
Yeah, it was really nice. It's humongous inside. I mean, it took us like an hour-ish probably just to get through that part of the palace. I think there's a painting museum and the harem to come, so we'll take a look at those now.
I think my favorite part of the whole thing was a pretty small chandelier right at the very end. It was like a kind of ornate Murano glass, I think, with like a bright blue weaved into it, which was a little different.
Nice. All right, off to see the other things. All right, so we just finished visiting the harem, which is the building behind us. As you can tell, is absolutely massive. So the Sultan lived here, the mother of the Sultan lived here, and then all of his wives. And essentially it contained a bunch of different like meeting rooms for the Sultan, the Sultan's wives, and the mother of the Sultan.
I thought it was interesting too that the Sultan never went into his wives' meeting rooms without permission unless it was a dire emergency, but the wives could come into his quarters when they chose.
Yeah, and all the wives had like individual apartments, so like one door, and then you can imagine like 3 or 4 different rooms inside as an apartment, and they all had to like make official communication with each other to visit each other, which I think that there were like at least 10 different like apartments for Sultan wives, so I don't know, 5 to 10 wives maybe, and I don't know, it was cool to see. I mean, it's definitely still very ornate inside, very grand, lavish living conditions for the Sultan and all of his wives and his mother.
And the kids.
Yeah, and all of the kids would live with their wives. The prince would leave this building and go out somewhere else when he hit puberty, and then the daughters would essentially stay here until they were married. Yeah, cool to see. I think we're going to run through the art museum really quickly. Art's usually not my thing, but we're here and it's included, so we're just going to go ahead and do that, and then probably wind our way back towards the tourist district of Istanbul. All right, so this has been a day of quite a bit of walking. So we went all the way up to the walls of Constantinople, and honestly, it was kind of a bummer. There was a little bit to see, but I would say not a ton. So we just made it back to the area where our hotel is. I'd say it's what, like 5-6 mile round trip probably.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to be off my feet for a bit.
Yeah, so we went through like the spice market area and the bazaar, so that was really cool. So many people once again.
Just every day.
But also it's really cool to see all the different spices, and then they've got like Turkish delights and like just all sorts of things in there. I'm sure I can overlay quite a few clips following Kelly through, but it was really unique to see in the bazaar itself. People didn't really haggle with you quite as much. Like I thought that that'd be like haggled at every stall, but they really kept to themselves.
I think it may have been different if you were trying to buy something. But
yeah, maybe it was like you have to show initiative to buy first, but it really wasn't bad at all, other than very crowded.
So many people.
So yeah, I think we're probably just gonna head back to the hotel. It's like 3:30ish now. Relax for a little bit before heading back to, I think, the place we went to our first night for dinner.
Last Ottoman.
Yeah, that was just so good. I think we're gonna go back.